Hello, marketing students. Today, what I'm going to talk about is competition analysis on the free enterprise system. So, by this point, we've already talked about SWOT, and now we have to talk about when we look at competitive advantages and when we look at SWOT, where we're looking at those is in our economy, which is the free enterprise system. So, I'm going to define some things and talk a little bit about competition. So, the first thing we're going to talk about is what's called a market oriented economic system. This is the system in which we live in the United States, and that's why I want to make sure that we talk about it. So, when we look at our market oriented economic system, what we're looking at is the free enterprise system. This is where we encourage individuals to start and operate their own business in a competitive system without a lot of government involvement. So, people are free to own their own personal property, which includes businesses, trademarks, copyright, logos, etc. And when we look at those things, that's part of this free enterprise system. We have to be very mindful that you can't stomp out your competition because that's actually an unethical practice. And in some cases, it's actually illegal to do so. And we'll get into that. So, the first thing I want to do is just define what is competition. Competition, in a nutshell, is the rivalry between two or more businesses to attract scarce or limited customer dollars. What that means is it's an essential part of your free enterprise. You can't have a business without some type of competition. Even if it's an indirect competition, you still have to have somewhere or somehow that people can buy a product that looks like it. If we didn't have competition, people literally could charge whatever it is that they want to charge. And as a consumer, so like us, we would be able to do essentially nothing about it. So those are some things to think about. When we look at your competition, the first two that I want to talk about is what's called price versus non price. Price competition is when you're using your prices to attract your customer dollars. So you're known as like a very cheap or you have a lot of sales. So think about Kohl's. Like Kohl's is a great example. When you think about Kohl's, I always say don't ever buy anything full price at Kohl's because they have a sale going on pretty much 365 days a year. What they're doing is using that price competition. They're doing discount coupons, special sales. They'll even do price matching and they're out there Kohl's Cash. All those things are based on that price competition. So you feel like you're getting the best deal if you're going there. Where in the flip side, when we look at what's called non-price competition, this is when you buy something based on the brand and the quality of the product. So when you justify it saying, well, I'm going to buy, let's say, this Under Armour sweatshirt, I'm going to buy it because of the brand. I'm going to buy it because it's going to last longer. I'm going to buy it because of all these different things that goes along with it. And that is non-price competition. So you're not buying the product just based on the price alone. You're buying the product because of the brand and what it does for you. And those are some things to really think about. Other examples of this could be Apple. So, like, Apple is not known as the cheapest for cell phones, laptops, iPads, or tablets, etc. They're known as quality. And I think that's what you really have to keep in mind as you're looking at this. The next form of competition that I want to talk about is direct competition. When I say who's in competition with such and such company, this is the one that you guys always will tell me. So, direct competition is a type of competition that happens among businesses that offer similar types of goods or services. So, if I say, oh, I'm so hungry, I want to go have a burger, the options I have are a lot, quite honestly. I could go to Burger King, I could go to McDonald's, I could go to Wendy's. I could even put Culver's in here as well as a form of direct competition. But if I say I want to have like a burger and fries and I want a more expanded menu, then you could maybe think about places like Red Robin, beat ups, that kind of thing, because they would have a more expanded menu, a little bit more sit down restaurant feel type thing as you go through it. And those are all forms of direct competition. And then there's the other one that's indirect competition. So when we look at indirect competition, we're looking at getting the same target market, but we really don't have the same options. So if I say to my husband, oh, I'm hungry, I want to go out to eat at a nicer sit down restaurant, and I'm kind of talking about these different options, like Olive Garden and Red Lobster would both be options for me. We could even throw in like Texas Roadhouse as well as an option in here and talk about the fact that they all are going to be nicer sit down restaurants, about the same amount of cost for whatever the meal is I'm going to purchase. But the products that I'm going to get are actually quite different. And that's what makes it that indirect competition that we look at. The other thing we have to look at is, why do we care about competition? What does it do? So competition benefits businesses. Most of the time when you see a market starting to expand and make more money, what happens is it's going to help more businesses enter that exact same market. The other thing is, it also makes you run pretty efficiently. When you have more competition, you have to be more on your game. It's just what happens. Offers, and it also offers reward of making a profit. So the more successful you are, the more you sell, the more you should make, monetary wise, for that profit side of things. Competition also benefits customers. So a lot of times when we look at this, we're looking at competition will make it so more products are going to be created. So if we look back on the BlackBerry, which was like one of the first smartphones, if nobody else ever came into competition with the BlackBerry, we literally could still be all carrying around BlackBerries from like 2005, where because other businesses wanted to get into the game as well and create new products, what we saw was better products for us, which increased the quality of the product, creating more and better services. So now we have like 4G, 4G on our phones that makes it go faster, and we have data, and we have like iMessages and apps and all of these things that go along with it to really create that wider selection of goods and services. And then the last part, which is nice as a customer, is it's supposed to keep your selling prices fairly low so people are going to continue to purchase the product. And then the last one that we talk about is we talk about, how does competition benefit society? So competition will benefit society because it should create a higher standard of living. Like, I like my cell phone. Like, I use my cell phone daily. I can't remember what it was like to not have my cell phone with me all the time, or not be able to make a phone call or look something up when I'm curious about something, no matter where I'm at. Like, we have definitely gained a higher standard of living based on that. It also helps people. So we've also created products that will help people live healthier and live longer. So like, my grandma was on dialysis forever. For like 7, 8 years, she was on dialysis. And like, if they hadn't created that product, when her kidneys gave out, she wouldn't have made it. But instead, she had 8 more years of life that she wouldn't have had if that wouldn't have happened. It also creates new businesses, which makes more jobs available. So, like, the more products you make, the higher production, the more people are employed that have to make those products. And then it should create prosperity as well, because those businesses will be doing well, which means they pay more in taxes, which means our communities are doing better, etc. And then the last thing that I want to talk about is, what happens if there's not competition? So if there's not a competition, what we see is a monopoly. And a monopoly is an exclusive control over a product or the means of producing it. So when we look at it, it's not permitted in a free enterprise system. So the Bell system, which used to be AT&T a long time ago, was actually broken up because they were a monopoly. They controlled an entire category, and the government stepped in and actually broke them up. So when we look at it, monopolies are not able to happen because of the fact that you have to have competition in that free enterprise system. So that's really where we're at with our chapter 6 notes. Check Canvas for the rest of the stuff that you guys need, but hopefully you enjoyed learning about competition today.